Hello and welcome to the Could This Happen in Your Program podcast, where we find collaborative solutions for protecting New Yorkers in care. In honor of Disability Pride Month, we kick off this episode by sitting down with our Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility to discuss the importance of disability pride and why true inclusion requires moving beyond baseline reasonable accommodations and bringing underrepresented voices and lived experiences into the conversation. Then we go live from Empire State Plaza for the state's Disability Pride on the Plaza Celebration, and we're doing a podcast on the Plaza. You'll hear directly from award-winning advocates, state partners, and other community members about what disability pride means to them. These conversations explore a deeper meaning behind the celebration. It's about identity, inclusion, and the continued effort to build a community where everyone feels truly valued. Okay, well, welcome, Sidra. Thank you so much for joining us today. Could you start by introducing yourself and your role at the Justice Center?
Sure. Thank you again for having me. Again, my name is Sidra Chaudhary. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I currently serve as the Justice Center's Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility, and just actually hit my 4-year anniversary with the Justice Center. So exciting month.
Yeah, well, welcome. You and I have been, I feel like we started at the Justice Center very close together. So we've been here about the same amount of time. So you're my buddy. You're my buddy in that journey.
That's right.
And can you just give us a little bit about what your role as the DEIA director here at the Justice Center entails?
Yep. So the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility title, aside from just being a really long one, means also wearing a ton of different hats, right? So at a very high level, it means working in partnership with, the leadership here at the Justice Center, in addition to, staff members who support this work and our mission, and then also working with, external groups, external entities like Governor Hochul's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion team, working with her Chief Disability Office, supporting the work and rollout of language access, under the Office of General Services. So it's really it's a big effort, in terms of just implementing our agency's commitment to being a diverse organization, to being an equitable and inclusive organization. So these efforts are ultimately about better supporting the people that we're called to serve and those that we serve alongside with at the Justice Center.
Yeah, and I think, right now we are in a very important month. We're in Disability Pride Month as this episode airs, and we're excited to have you on today to share some of your expertise and what that means to the disability community and to us here at the Justice Center. But can I ask, what does Disability Pride Month mean to you in your role at the Justice Center?
Yes. So I'll start by saying that. Just for folks who might not be as familiar with Disability Pride Month, that this is a month that's celebrated annually in July, right? The focus of this month is to honor, the diversity, the achievements, rights of people who identify as having disabilities. It's centered around disability identity, having community, building community, recognition of disability culture and leadership, right? There's so many things, to celebrate in this month and throughout the year, but it also is very much focused around being a celebration of the American with Disabilities Act, which was signed into law in 1990. So 2026 actually makes 36 years. So it's 36th anniversary, which is amazing. And I think of it, really, this is an opportunity to reflect on the legislation, this landmark, right, legislation that was no doubt the results of just decades of hard-fought activism, by individuals with disabilities who, they demanded access, right? They demanded inclusion. This was a fight for civil rights and not necessarily just being focused on something like charity, right? And again, over time, the celebration, from what I know about it, has grown into a nationwide movement. And ultimately the goal is to center the identity of disability, right, as a source of strength and pride and resistance, and not something to be hidden. Um, And so even though, to the second part of your question, even though I don't necessarily identify as someone who has a disability, so I can't speak to it from the place of lived experience. The angle that I can take is, as someone who is a social worker, someone who is a DEIA practitioner, excuse me, having, done this type of work for over 15 years, and then again, thinking about individuals in my family, right? Folks who identify as having a disability, who live with a disability, and have been for many years. To me, this month recognizes disability as essentially a natural component, right, of human diversity. Like when we talk about the diversity of what makes us who we are, and all of the various pieces that bring us together, I think of that, right? I think of disability as a natural component, as a natural part of that, rather than being something that needs to be hidden or needs to be fixed, right? It means that we are focusing on centering the lived experience and identities of the folks, right, that we're talking about, and also at the same time demanding that they have equal access, and dignity, right? When you think about folks who have been historically and continually, systemically excluded, right? It's part of it is awareness, and then the other part of it is continuing to push for, equal access, equal opportunity, and of course dignity. So, I've been reading a lot in preparation for this month about individuals who have written about their lived experience, right, with disabilities and what it means to them. And I came across this really, really powerful quote that I wanted to share with you in the audience. And so this individual said, excuse me, for many, it means pushing back against years of stigma, some of it external, some of it internalized. But that pushback is powerful. Disability pride says we are not broken, we are not burdens, and we will not be sidelined. So, I thought that was just a very, very powerful statement
Yeah.
because it speaks to the overall experience, the human experience, right, of holding this identity, which is just one part of the many identities that we all hold. So yeah, that's a very long way of saying this is what disability pride means to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a very important point, especially, reflected in that quote you just shared, that being prideful of having a disability and celebrating Disability Pride Month, it's not just an observance, it's really a part of somebody's identity. It's a factor, not, to your point, a stigma. And, I think that kind of leads nicely into the next question, which is, from your perspective, as our DEIA lead, how can we help the individuals that we serve, that is largely a disability population, both inside and outside the Justice Center?
Yeah, definitely. And that's a really good question, right? I think it really starts with thinking about that shift in mindset, right? Of viewing disability as something that needs to be fixed, right? Or something that needs to be hidden. And so recognizing that, again, this is part of our lived experience. This is part of what makes up our diversity. And so our focus should really always begin and continue to be centered around recognizing people's strengths, right? Recognizing their talents and who they are as individuals first and foremost, right? So not defining an individual, just like I don't want to be defined as one thing or be put in one label or box, right? There's many things that make up who I am as an individual. And so I think extending that outwards, right? So irrespective of whether you're someone that's in the field serving as an advocate or an investigator, or you're someone who's working in-house, within the Justice Center, irrespective of what your role or what your title is, that should be the focus point, right? We're recognizing people's strengths, we're recognizing their talents and who they are as individuals, right? Helping folks to feel confident in who they are, proud of the things that they've accomplished, while at the same time doing the work to make sure that we're advocating, right? And that we are continuing to fight hand in hand, right, with them in the conversation around policy changes, and really moving that needle forward, which I think, I'm a proud New Yorker, right? Like I'm proud that, under Governor Hochul, that there is a lot of effort being made, specifically, right, to support and to really help dismantle some of the policies, right, that have been put into place. And so, just growing and expanding, but I think it starts from the individual level and it kind of makes its way out, right? So it's like irrespective of who you are and what position you hold, it doesn't matter what your title is. We all have a collective responsibility, those of us with lived experience and those of us without, when it comes to disabilities, around, fostering that support, that empathy, and leading with compassion, and the belief that everyone deserves dignity and support, even if we don't understand the full experience. We're all works in progress. That's what it's about. That's what it's
Yeah.
about, starting from. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to kind of build off that with my final question, which is just, we all come from different lived experiences. We may all have our own internal biases, inherent biases. What's one small thing that we can do to build a community where everyone feels truly accepted, valued, celebrated, all of the things that we really want in a community, a modern day community?
That's right. That's right. I mean, I'll say, rather than one small thing, I have a few things. So,
I would expect
so
nothing less, Sidra.
I'll list them off really quick, because it was really hard, thinking about this question and kind of preparing for this conversation. It was really hard to just get it down to like one
Mhm.
thing, but I did my best. So I'll give you a few sort of quick ones, right? I think I alluded to this earlier in some of your, previous questions, and so I think in having conversations with folks who do identify, right, as having a disability, asking them, what are some of the things that you believe that we can do to be supportive, right?
Mhm.
Irrespective of who we are and what position we're in, or where we're called to task, right? And one of the immediate responses that I received was, start by asking the person that is in front of you what they need, rather than making assumptions about what you think they need, right? And I think part of that comes with meeting people where they are, through that empathy and through that, compassion. It's like, let's
Mhm.
do our part to hold space, right, for everyone, coming from a place of curiosity, coming from a place of openness, rather than jumping to conclusions about
Mhm.
someone, that is right in front of you, whether, they have a visible disability or an invisible disability, whether they've disclosed to you or not disclosed to you. I think we
Mhm.
have to be, very mindful, right, about that assumptions component. It's like asking the individual. That's going to be the biggest thing in that moment, that we can do to be of support. The other item that came to mind was, just asking yourself the question of, irrespective of what space I'm in. So let's say, whether I'm a teacher in a school, whether I'm a member of a church, whether I am, in the workspace at the Justice Center, if I'm holding a meeting, or if I'm, gathering a group of people together, are our meetings, welcoming and open? Are they
Mhm.
accessible? Are they accessible to all people, right? Not
Mhm.
just a specific group of people, but all people, right? In state government, I know this is something we're working towards, like, you know are the things that we're posting on our websites accessible, right? Are they screen reader friendly, right?
Mhm.
Are our events, right? I think about our training team, I think about all of the things that happen on a statewide level. Are we planning our events with these things in mind, right, with
Mhm.
individuals who may have those accessibility needs? And
Mhm.
are we designing things to be as accessible and as open to all as possible? um,
Mhm.
the third thing on here, is really just around, challenging this concept of ableism, right? So I
Mhm.
think the easiest way to define ableism is like making an assumption that someone who has a disability needs to be fixed, right? That
Mhm.
it's your job to fix them, or that they're somehow limited, right, by the confines of whatever you think, in terms of, whatever disability. Again, it comes back to assumptions, right? Just like concepts of racism might lead us to make assumptions about a specific group of people.
Mhm.
Ableism can do the same thing, right? So it can
Mhm.
feed into stereotypes and generalizations that people have made about individuals with disabilities, right?
Mhm.
Historically speaking. And then the last piece, and I promise this is the last one, right? Comes directly from our state's chief disability officer, and in her work and in her team's work. This is Kim Hill. I recently heard her on a podcast episode, speaking to this month, speaking about disability pride. And the question was around disability etiquette, right? Like, what's a good sort of easy applicable strategy that we can all use, right? And her response was, as someone who does have lived experience as an individual with disability, she says, treat everyone the same, right? So treating an individual with a visible or invisible disability the same as you would anybody. We are all
Mhm.
people, right? It's always about putting the person first, right? So folks want to be acknowledged for who they are. And a lot of the
Mhm.
times, you know, they may be perceived, again, I don't want to speak for folks in the disability community, but if I can identify from sort of other angles, we don't want people to define us based on what they assume about us, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so really it's just one piece of who that individual is. So if you identify as having a disability, that's just one part of who you are,
Mhm.
right? And so we have to make sure that we're talking to the person first. That's what it's about, right? Their disability does not define them. There are so
Mhm.
many other components to who they are as the individual that's sitting across from us. So that's my quick four.
Mhm.
Not the quick one, but the quick four.
No, I love that. I mean, it almost becomes an existential crisis of like, what is normal, right? These days.
Who
I don't
gets
know
to
that they're,
define
yeah,
that?
who gets to decide that? Yeah.
Right? Who gets to define
Um,
that? Who gets to decide that? And it's
yeah.
interesting because that conversation, we can thread it throughout our history,
Mhm.
as a nation of like, how disability was defined and what, in what ways individuals who did have disabilities were limited, and
Mhm.
continue to be limited, right? So I think it's about who is defining the normal and what sort of
Mhm.
parameters have been placed around that. So it's a really, I mean, that's a conversation that we could have probably for
For
hours.
sure.
I won't go too far into that, but yeah, you raise a really good point. It's what's
Yeah.
considered normal and who gets to define that, and
Right.
my position will always be the person that is sitting
Mhm.
with you, just like I
Right.
get to define what is my normal and what applies to my life and to
Yeah.
my multiple identities. It's the same for the person sitting across from me, whether they have a disability or not, right?
Correct. Correct. Well, Sidra, thank you so much for joining us today. And I really appreciate you kicking off this discussion. And we're going to head to the plaza for Disability Pride Month and interview some folks live on the scene. So we'll follow this up with some lively discussion there. And yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time and hope to have you again soon.
Thank you so much for having me, Erin.
Thank you. Take care. Hello, welcome. Can you do me a favor and tell us your name?
Yes, my name is Anna DeRosa.
All right. And where are you joining us here from today?
I'm joining from Albany. I work with the New York State Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Thank you so much. And what does Disability Pride mean to you?
I think to me, it means bringing your authentic self to the table and not having to compromise any of that in your work.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And can you tell us a little bit about your work with the CDD?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a lot of advocacy. We work specifically with nonprofits, primarily through granting, but we also work directly with the community through our Advocacy Institute, have lots of opportunities for people with developmental disabilities as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Disability Pride. Can you tell me your name?
My name is Ablau Tavares. I'm the president of Metro DDSO of Self Advocacy in the five boroughs.
That's amazing. And can you do us a favor and tell us what Disability Pride means to you?
Mostly in working for our individuals and helping us build a better life.
I love that. I love that. And you're here today out on the plaza, and it's such a beautiful day, and you're celebrating Disability Pride with us all.
Yes. It will help us bring positive life, positive everything, and mostly make us feel good.
Well, I agree. I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us your name?
My name is Melanie Hecker.
Amazing. And you are decked out head to toe in Disability Pride. I mean, I'm loving it. Can you tell us about your outfit today? Who are you wearing?
Sure. So, on both my shirt and my hat, I have the Disability Pride flag. And the different stripes on the different Disability Pride flag pertain to different disabilities. Whether it's red for physical, blue for psychiatric, green for developmental, and also white for invisible.
Amazing. I love it. Yeah, we were just looking that up the other day, and I love that. I love that each color represents something different.
Yes.
So can you tell us, what does disability pride mean to you?
Disability pride means that while I encountered so many challenges and so much adversity growing up as a disabled person, I know that my experiences only made me stronger. Disability pride means acknowledging the proud history of our people, being proud of what we've accomplished in the passage of the ADA and the IDEA and every other legal safeguard we have, and also making a commitment to fight for our future.
All right. Well, I'm voting for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Disability Pride.
Happy Disability Pride. Thank you.
Can you tell us your name?
My name is Clifton Perez.
Great. Well, welcome here. And I hear that you were at the signing of the ADA. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, I was. I was only maybe 3 or 4 rows away from the president. I had been doing a lot of work, obviously, on making society more accessible to people with disabilities, and did a lot of work to maximize the ability of the ADA to pass into law.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your work on that. And we're asking everybody today, so what does disability pride mean to you?
Well, what it means to me really is for me to be able to do whatever I want without having anything in the way in terms of societal barriers, whether they'd be physical or even more importantly, attitudinal. So when we get rid of those things, physical, we've gotten rid of a lot of those because they're very visible, obviously, right? But attitudinal things are not visible. And attitudinal things are the most important, because if the attitude was all right, then we wouldn't have to do with the physical, right? So if you have to deal with the physical, on the one hand, if you don't deal with the attitude, then the physical stuff will come back. And unfortunately, we are seeing some of that stuff coming back now.
Yeah, we have to continue to make progress, right?
Most definitely. It's a continuous fight, and it's one that I think that people with disabilities, let me say this carefully, we don't enjoy doing it, obviously, because we shouldn't have to do it at all, but we will step up and do step up when it's needed.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome. Have a great day yourself today.
You too. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us your name?
Chester Finn.
And Chester, I am told you have a podcast of your own. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It's called Accessing Life, and it's talking about different things that we experience in our lives, and work situations, fun, recreation. So we want to bring to the community and to the people out there, what it's like in our lives. So.
Well, that's amazing. I've seen it and it's wonderful. So you do an amazing job. And it was hard to even track you down. There's so many people snagging you. You're famous. I hope you know that.
Well, I just do what I have to do and just get to know people. I like people.
I like people too. So can you answer one question for us? What
Yes.
does disability pride mean to you?
It means being proud of who you are. A lot of people try to hide from, who they are or having a disability. But, you are who you are. And if you're not proud of yourself, who will be?
Well, that's a wonderful message. And thank you so much for joining us here, and happy Disability Pride.
Oh, well, thank you.
Hey, can you tell us your name?
My name is Stephanie Speaker.
Great. And so I heard that you're getting a very special award today. Can you tell us about that award?
I'm getting the Self-Advocate of the Year Award, Bernard Carabello.
You got it. Yeah.
And I've been working on transportation for 13 years. It's going to be 13 in this coming January. It will be 13. I got a bill that when Congressman Kennedy was a senator, he got me $750,000 for the bus company. Now I'm trying to get it passed, and I'm trying to get a new sponsor to take it on.
That is so great. And congratulations on this amazing honor today. I'm so excited for you. So I bet Disability Pride means something special to you. Could you give us a little bit about what does Disability Pride mean to you?
Disability pride is an important part of the disability community. A lot of people, they need disability pride. They don't know what services are out there for people with disabilities. So disability pride helps a lot.
Well, thank you so much for your work and for spending, a couple minutes with us today. And I hope you enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, can you tell me your name?
Dylan Biddle.
Hi, Dylan. Welcome today. Can you tell me a little bit about what brings you here today on the plaza?
To support Disability Pride.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and showing your support. Can you tell me a little bit about what Disability Pride means to you?
Disability Pride means to me to help others achieve to do what they want to do in life.
And I'm told you have a podcast yourself and do artwork. Is that correct?
I do a monthly newsletter that I send out every month with different, I interview people throughout the state and put jokes in there, put crafts, put information in. So
That's great. Well, thank you so much for spreading all the good word and for sharing some lightheartedness and levity and lives via your newsletter. And thanks for joining us today.
you're welcome.
Okay, so can you do me a favor and tell me your name?
My name is Shamika Andrews.
Well, Shamika, thank you so much for being here today. Can you tell us what brings you here?
Well, I just love being here at the plaza, Empire State Plaza. I live right down the street, so I'm here every Wednesday for the farmers market. And I love the fact that today is also not only the farmers market, but the ADA celebration. So that's why I'm here.
That's so great. Two of our best things all at once, right? And we're asking everybody today, and I'd love to ask you, what does Disability Pride mean to you?
Disability pride to me just means looking back of how far I've come and how we've come as a community and just celebrating who we are and what makes us who we are.
That is so great. And well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And I hope you enjoy the farmer's market and get some goodies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, can you tell me your name?
My name is Joe McManus from Troy.
Oh, well, welcome, Joe from Troy. Can you tell me a little bit about what brings you here today?
Because I have disabilities and I wanted to learn a lot of different things about disabilities and how to better myself and try to get myself more out there and meet other people.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being here today. What does Disability Pride mean to you?
It means everybody's included. Everybody, no matter what level of disability you have, you can get together and you're all included. I feel like the disability culture and community is like the best community ever. I feel like I'm home. Everybody gets along. I find that people with disabilities can be more kind than other people without disabilities.
I agree, and far more welcoming, right? Yes. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thanks for just stopping by and giving us a minute of your time. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us your names?
My name is Ping Fen.
My name is Vincent Fang.
Amazing. And I hear we're celebrating an award today. Is that correct?
Yes, I will got to the Willing May Goodman Family Advocacy Award this year.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on that. And I bet you have some thoughts on our next question, which is, what does Disability Pride mean to you?
So for me, very clearly, the Disability Pride is because my son Vincent and lots of people like Vincent. I'm very proud for them because they struggle a lot, but they achieve a lot. Yeah. They are great, great human beings. I'm very proud of them. Thank you.
And do you think, Vincent, you could give us an answer as well?
What disability proud for you? You just said.
I get to work for 8 years, and it's also one despite my disability.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
we love
that's
it.
what we want here.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, and we appreciate your time, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
all right. Well, thank you so much for joining. Can you tell us your name?
My name is Sammy. I am 19 years old.
Okay. Can you tell me what Disability Pride means to you?
Disability pride to me. Proud of myself.
And are you an artist? Is that what I heard? What kind of art do you do?
Do the art exhibition.
Art is really special to you? Art is really special to me too. Well, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And happy Disability Pride. Hey, well, welcome. Can you tell us your name?
Hi, good morning. I'm Maria Lisi Murray, the Acting Executive Director at the Justice Center for the Protection of People with Special Needs.
Hi, Maria. So glad to have you. Hello. We're going to ask you the same question we've been asking everybody. What does Disability Pride mean to you?
So to me, Disability Pride is the celebration of all things that make us different. It's a celebration of the uniqueness of each individual and how that uniqueness adds towards our strength and should be celebrated.